Have you ever stayed somewhere that slowly erased your self-respect? Have you ever known, deep down, that something was wrong, yet you stayed anyway? Not because it was right, but because leaving felt scary. Most people don't stay because they are weak. They stay because they hope things will change. They stay because they fear loneliness more than disrespect. They stay because walking away feels like failure. Here is the hard truth the Stoics understood centuries ago. Endurance is not always strength. Sometimes endurance is self-betrayal. Stoicism never taught blind tolerance. It taught clarity. It taught dignity. It taught the courage to choose yourself when staying begins to cost your character. A Stoic does not walk away in anger, revenge, or drama. He walks away quietly, when the price of staying becomes his peace, his values, more than his self-respect. Today, we will uncover 7 warning signs the Stoics would never ignore. Signs that tell you, without emotion, without confusion, that it is time to walk away. Not to punish others, but to protect who you are becoming. Sign 1. You have to constantly prove your worth. If you constantly feel the need to explain yourself, justify your value, or defend why you deserve basic respect, something is already wrong. Pay attention to that feeling. A healthy environment does not demand that you audition for dignity. You should not have to repeatedly prove that you are competent, loyal, intelligent, or worthy of being treated fairly. The moment respect becomes conditional, earned only after endless explanations, you're no longer standing on equal ground. Many people confuse patience with strength. They tell themselves, if I just try harder, if I explain better, if I show more value, they'll finally see me. But Stoicism warns us about this trap. When you tie your worth to someone else's recognition, you hand them power over your inner life. Epictetus taught that your value is not determined by how others judge you, but by how faithfully you live according to your principles. The Stoic understands that self-worth is not negotiated. It is assumed. The moment you begin bargaining for respect, you silently teach others that your dignity is flexible. Look closely at the pattern. Are you always the one clarifying your intentions? Always the one defending your boundaries? Always the one over-explaining your choices, your emotions, your needs? If so, the issue is not misunderstanding. It is imbalance. A Stoic does not argue his value. He demonstrates it through calm presence and consistent action. And when that presence is still met with dismissal or doubt, he does not escalate. He withdraws. This is where walking away becomes an act of self-respect, not pride. Walking away says, "And I know who I am. I don't need to convince you." It is a quiet refusal to perform for approval. Understand this clearly. People who truly respect you do not require constant proof. They recognize value without being begged to see it. When someone repeatedly questions your worth, they are revealing more about their character than yours. Staying in a place where your value is endlessly questioned slowly erodes your self-trust. Over time, you begin to internalize their doubt. You speak less. You shrink your presence. You tolerate what you once would not. This is how self-betrayal begins. Not loudly, but subtly. The Stoic rule here is simple and uncompromising. If you must constantly prove your worth, you are already paying too high a price. You do not owe anyone a performance to earn basic respect. The moment you realize that, do you regain your power. And sometimes, the most dignified move is not another explanation, but a deliberate step away. Because true self-respect starts when you stop asking others to validate what you already know. Sign 2. Your boundaries are repeatedly ignored. One of the clearest warning signs that it's time to walk away is this. You set a boundary, and it gets crossed anyway. At first, it may seem small. A joke you asked them not to make. A request you clearly declined. A limit you calmly explained. You give the benefit of the doubt. You assume misunderstanding. You repeat yourself more politely, more carefully, more patiently. But the pattern continues. Stoicism draws a sharp line here. Boundaries are not suggestions. They are expressions of self-respect. When someone repeatedly ignores them, they are not confused. They are testing how much access they can take without consequence. Many people stay stuck because they fear that enforcing boundaries will make them seem harsh, difficult, or unkind. So they soften their words. They compromise their standards. They tolerate violations and call it maturity. But the Stoics warned against this kind of quiet erosion. Marcus Aurelius wrote that self-respect comes from aligning your actions with your values. A boundary that is never upheld is not a boundary, it is a wish. And wishes do not protect your peace. Notice how boundary violations feel in your body. Tightness, irritation, fatigue. These are signals, not weaknesses. They are your inner warning system telling you that something is out of alignment. Each time you ignore that signal, you teach others, and yourself, that your limits are flexible. There is an important Stoic distinction to make here. Walking away is not about punishing the other person. It is about removing yourself from a situation that repeatedly disrespects your inner order. So you cannot control whether others honor your boundaries, but you can control what you tolerate. Ask yourself this honestly. When you say no, is it heard? When you express discomfort, is it respected? Or are your boundaries treated as obstacles to work around? If someone truly values you, your limits will not threaten them. They will adapt. They will adjust. They will respect the line because they respect the person drawing it. When that does not happen, consistently, over time, the message is already clear. Epictetus taught that freedom begins where unnecessary attachments end. Staying where your boundaries are ignored binds you to constant vigilance, frustration, and self-doubt. Leaving restores simplicity. It restores clarity. It restores peace. A Stoic does not argue endlessly for his limits. He states them once, calmly. And if they are ignored, he observes. If the pattern persists, he acts, not with anger, but with resolve. Walking away in this case is not dramatic, it is disciplined. It says, I respect myself enough to leave environments that require me to fight for basic consideration. Remember this, the people who deserve access to you will not force you to defend your boundaries. They will honor them naturally. And when someone shows you, through repeated actions, that they cannot or will not do that, the Stoic response is simple. You stop negotiating your dignity. You choose distance over damage, and you walk away. Sign 3. Every interaction leaves you drained. One of the most overlooked warning signs is exhaustion that has no clear physical cause. You're not tired because you worked too hard. You're tired because of who or what you keep engaging with. After every conversation, every meeting, every interaction, you feel heavier. Your mind feels cluttered. Your body feels tense. Your peace quietly disappears. And yet, nothing bad enough seems to have happened to justify leaving, at least not on the surface. Stoicism teaches us to observe effects, not excuses. Energy is not a vague concept in Stoic thought. It is the fuel of reason, discipline, and virtue. Anything that consistently drains it without restoration is not neutral. It is harmful. Many people ignore this sign because it feels intangible. There is no argument to point to, no obvious betrayal, just a persistent sense of depletion. So they stay. They tell themselves they are being sensitive. They assume the problem is their mood, their stress, their mindset. But the Stoics would ask a sharper question. What consistently costs you your inner balance? Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts and surroundings. If every interaction leaves you tense, defensive, or diminished, your environment is shaping you. whether you admit it or not. Pay attention to patterns. Do you feel the need to brace yourself before engaging? Do you rehearse conversations in advance, anticipating friction? Do you feel relief, not sadness, when interaction ends? These are not coincidences. They are data. A Stoic does not ignore data because it is inconvenient. There is an important difference between productive discomfort and corrosive drain. Growth can be uncomfortable. Discipline can be tiring, but growth strengthens you afterward. Drain leaves you weaker, foggier, less yourself. Ask yourself this: after spending time here, do I feel more grounded or more fragmented? People often stay in draining environments because they confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. They believe enduring exhaustion proves commitment. But Stoicism never glorified unnecessary suffering. It taught voluntary hardship for growth, not chronic depletion that erodes the mind. Epictetus warned that we must be careful about what we allow to occupy our attention, because attention is life itself. When too much of it is consumed by tension, conflict, or emotional labor, there is little left for virtue, clarity, or purpose. Walking away in this case is an act of conservation. You are protecting your most limited resource. You are choosing clarity over chaos. This does not mean avoiding challenge. It means refusing environments that demand constant emotional payment with no return. It means recognizing that peace is not laziness. It is alignment. A Stoic chooses relationships, work, and spaces that sharpen him, not ones that hollow him out. If every interaction drains you, the message is already clear. You don't need to explain it. You don't need permission to honor it. You step back, you regain your center, and you remember that your energy exists to build your life, not to be slowly consumed by places that never replenish it. Sign 4. Respect only appears when you threaten to leave. One of the most deceptive warning signs is temporary respect. Things only improve when you reach your breaking point. They listen only when you pull away. They change their tone only when they sense you're about to leave. At first, this feels hopeful. You think, see, they can change. You think, maybe I just needed to be firmer. You think, this time will be different. But Stoicism teaches us to trust patterns, not emotional spikes. Real respect is consistent. It does not appear only when consequences are imminent. When someone treats you well only after you withdraw, what they are respecting is not you. It is the loss of access to you. This is a crucial distinction. A person who values you does not wait until you are halfway out the door to behave decently. They do not need the threat of absence to show consideration. When respect shows up only in crisis, it is not respect. It is damage control. Marcus Aurelius warned against being pulled back into cycles by momentary relief. The Stoic mind looks beyond short-term change and asks a deeper question: what always returns once I stay? Observe the rhythm carefully. Disrespect, tension, withdrawal, apology, temporary improvement. Then slowly, almost imperceptibly, the old behavior returns. The tone shifts back, the boundaries soften again, and you find yourself once more at the edge. This cycle is exhausting because it feeds on hope. People stay in it because those brief moments of improvement feel like proof. But the Stoic sees them for what they are: exceptions, not transformations. True change is quiet and sustained. It does not require ultimatums. It does not depend on fear of loss. It shows itself in behavior when no one is watching and nothing is at stake. Ask yourself this honestly: if you stayed without pulling away, would the respect remain? If the answer is no, then what you are experiencing is not growth. It is negotiation, and constantly negotiating your dignity will cost you more than leaving ever will. Epictetus taught that if you wish to be free, you must stop placing your well-being in the hands of others. When respect is conditional on your withdrawal, your peace becomes hostage to someone else's reactions. A Stoic does not threaten. He observes, he notes the pattern, and when the evidence is clear, he acts without resentment. Walking away here is not impatience, it is discernment. It says, I will not stay in a place where respect must be repeatedly forced into existence. You are not responsible for teaching others how to value you. Your responsibility is to protect your character, your clarity, and your peace. Temporary respect is a warning, not a reward. And when you finally understand that, you stop being pulled back by moments of hope and start moving forward with quiet certainty. Sign 5. You're afraid to be honest. One of the most telling signs that it's time to walk away is fear. Specifically, the fear of telling the truth. You hesitate before speaking. You soften your words. You hide parts of your thoughts, your needs, your emotions. Not because you are unsure, but because you are afraid of the consequences. At first, this may feel like maturity. You tell yourself you're being patient, diplomatic, understanding. You convince yourself that silence keeps the peace. But Stoicism draws a firm distinction between disciplined restraint and self-censorship born from fear. A Stoic is calm, not suppressed. When you are afraid to be honest, it is often because honesty has been punished before. You learned, consciously or unconsciously, that speaking truth leads to conflict, withdrawal, ridicule, or loss. So you adapt. So you minimize yourself. You trade authenticity for temporary stability. But this trade is never neutral. Marcus Aurelius wrote that living in accordance with nature means living in accordance with truth. When you consistently hide what is real inside you, your inner life fractures. One part observes, another part performs. And slowly, the cost accumulates. Notice the internal signals. Do you rehearse what you'll say, not to be clear, but to be safe? Do you avoid topics that matter to you because they cause problems? Do you feel a knot in your chest when you consider being fully honest? These are not signs of wisdom, they are signs of fear. Stoicism does not ask you to provoke unnecessary conflict, but it never asks you to abandon truth to preserve false harmony. Peace built on self-silencing is not peace, it is containment. There is a profound Stoic insight here. If honesty threatens the relationship, then the relationship itself is the threat. A bond that cannot survive truth is already fragile, regardless of how long it has lasted. Epictetus taught that no one can harm you unless you surrender your own moral purpose. When you silence yourself to keep others comfortable, you surrender that purpose piece by piece. Over time, you begin to doubt your own perceptions. You question whether your needs are reasonable. You lose trust in your own voice. This is how self-respect erodes, not through dramatic events, but through daily self-denial. Walking away in this situation is not impulsive. It is corrective. It restores alignment between who you are and how you live. It allows you to breathe fully again without calculating every word. And a Stoic does not demand that others agree with his truth, but he refuses to live without it. Ask yourself this. If you spoke honestly, calmly, respectfully, without blame, would this space still be safe for you? If the answer is no, then safety was already an illusion. Leaving is not rejection, it is recognition. You recognize that your voice matters. You recognize that truth deserves room to exist, and you recognize that any place requiring your silence in exchange for belonging is not a place meant for you. When honesty becomes something you fear, the Stoic answer is clear. You do not stay quieter, you walk away and take your truth with you. Sign 6. You're losing respect for yourself. One of the most serious warning signs appears quietly, but its damage runs deep. You no longer recognize yourself. You tolerate things that once felt unacceptable. You break promises you made to yourself. You leave conversations feeling ashamed, not of what you said, but of what you allowed. This is not about pride. It is about character. Stoicism places character at the center of a meaningful life. Your reputation may rise and fall, your circumstances may change, but your self-respect, your inner alignment with your values, is non-negotiable. When staying somewhere requires you to violate that alignment, the cost is always too high. Many people remain in situations like this because the loss is gradual. There is no single moment of collapse, just a series of small compromises. You laugh at what makes you uncomfortable. You stay silent when you should speak. You accept behavior that contradicts your standards because confronting it feels exhausting. Over time, these small concessions reshape how you see yourself. Marcus Aurelius warned that the soul becomes corrupted when it acts against its own principles. Not loudly, quietly, almost invisibly. Each time you choose comfort over integrity, you weaken your inner authority. And when you lose authority over yourself, no external success can compensate. Ask yourself an uncomfortable question: do I respect the version of myself that stays here? If the answer is no, that is not self-judgment. It is self-awareness. Stoicism does not encourage harsh self-criticism, but it demands honesty. Losing self-respect is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your values are still alive and protesting. This inner discomfort is not meant to be ignored. It is meant to guide you. Epictetus taught that you are harmed the moment you consent to what violates your moral purpose. When you remain in environments that require ongoing compromise of your standards, you train yourself to accept less than what you know is right. Eventually, this becomes your new normal, and that is the real danger. Walking away here is an act of restoration. You are not abandoning others. You are reclaiming yourself. You are choosing to live in a way that allows you to look inward without regret. A Stoic understands that belonging is optional. Integrity is not. You can lose status, comfort, familiarity, even people, and recover. But when you lose respect for yourself, everything else becomes unstable. Your confidence weakens, your decisions blur, your inner compass spins. The Stoic rule is simple but demanding. Never stay where you must become someone you do not respect. Walking away in this moment is not dramatic. It is dignified. It is the quiet return to alignment between your actions and your values. And when you choose that alignment, something powerful happens. You regain trust in yourself. You regain clarity. You regain strength. Because the moment you stop betraying your standards, you begin to rebuild the only reputation that truly matters, the one you have with yourself. Sign 7. You stay because of fear, not choice. The final warning sign is the most honest and the hardest to face. You're not staying because you want to. You're staying because you are afraid. Afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of losing familiarity, security, or approval. Afraid of what others might think if you walk away. Fear disguises itself as responsibility. It tells you you're being practical, loyal, patient. But Stoicism teaches us to look beneath the surface of our motives. Not all reasons are equal, even if they sound reasonable. There is a crucial Stoic distinction here. Staying by choice is strength. Staying out of fear is captivity. Ask yourself this question without judgment. If fear disappeared, would I still choose to stay? If the answer is no, then fear, not reason, is running your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Fear feeds on imagined futures, imagined loneliness, imagined regret, imagined failure. These mental projections feel real, but they are not facts. They are stories your mind tells to avoid discomfort. The Stoic does not obey fear. He studies it. Fear is information, not instruction. It points to uncertainty, not danger. And uncertainty is the natural price of growth. Many people remain in unhealthy situations because the known pain feels safer than the unknown possibility. At least here, they know what to expect. At least here, the suffering is familiar. But Stoicism warns us that familiarity is not the same as safety. When fear becomes the reason you stay, your life begins to shrink. You make decisions to avoid loss instead of to pursue virtue. Over time, so this avoidance shapes who you become. Cautious, hesitant, quietly resentful. Epictetus taught that freedom begins the moment you stop clinging to what you cannot control. Other people's reactions. The outcome of new beginnings, the certainty of success. These were never yours to command. What is yours is the choice to act in alignment with your values, even when the outcome is uncertain. Walking away in this moment requires the deepest form of courage, not dramatic courage, quiet courage, the kind that chooses dignity over comfort, truth over safety, growth over stagnation. A Stoic does not wait until fear disappears. He acts despite it. Leaving does not guarantee immediate peace, but staying guarantees continued conflict with yourself. And the Stoics understood that inner conflict is the most exhausting burden a person can carry. You do not walk away because you are fearless. You walk away because you refuse to let fear decide who you become. This is the final rule. When fear is the only thing holding you in place, it is already time to leave. Not recklessly, not angrily, but deliberately. You step forward into uncertainty with your values intact. You accept discomfort as the price of freedom, and in doing so, you reclaim the one thing fear was quietly taking from you all along. Your choice. Throughout this video, we explored 7 warning signs the Stoics would never ignore. Signals that tell you, calmly and clearly, when it is time to walk away. Not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. We saw how constantly proving your worth erodes dignity, how ignored boundaries drain your spirit, how exhaustion, temporary respect, fear of honesty, and self-betrayal slowly disconnect you from who you are. And finally, how staying out of fear, rather than choice, keeps you trapped in a life that no longer reflects your values. Stoicism is not about enduring everything. It is about enduring what strengthens you and releasing what diminishes you. Walking away, when done with clarity and discipline, is not a loss. It is a return to alignment, a return to character, a return to peace. Now comes the most important part. Practice. Reflect honestly. Ask yourself which sign spoke to you most. Observe without judgment. Decide without haste. And if needed, walk away without drama. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain it. Your actions will speak for you. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who may need it right now. And if you're choosing self-respect today, leave a comment below. I choose self-respect. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your attention matters. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video.